Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new episode of the podcast. I'm here in my little bedroom in Manchester with, hi mate, Seb Lowe. How are you doing, pal? You all right?
I'm good, pal. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for joining us, mate. It's very much appreciated. Where do we find you today, pal?
You find me in Saddleworth.
Adler?
Just little kind of countryside area
Yeah.
near Oldham, in Oldham. Yeah.
I'm just in Denton, just a bit further down.
Ah, brilliant.
Are you from Saddleworth originally?
I am. Yeah. Lived here all my life.
Well, I was looking on the internet because I keep seeing Seb Lowe's name all over the place, and that's why I wanted to catch up and chat with you today, mate. Because I think it's great.
Yeah.
I love seeing a new artist arrive on the scene, and somebody that everybody's talking about. So thanks for your time.
Yeah.
It's appreciated. When I was looking on your socials and stuff, I couldn't see where you were from, but I could see
Right.
I could see a few photo shoots down in Castlefield and that. I recognised
Yes.
a few places, so I
Yeah.
thought you might be more like Manchester, Greater Manchester
Yeah.
type of artist. So Saddleworth, eh?
Saddleworth.
Home of
Yeah.
the Twisted Wheel.
Twisted
Uh,
Wheel. Yeah.
some big Manchester acts have come from that side
Yeah.
of the world.
Yeah.
Do
In Spiral Carpets,
yes,
Oldham.
of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
Catterton way.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something going on in the air over there. Is it?
Yeah, it's cool, groovy place. I mean, Manchester as a whole, really, isn't it? Just absolute powerhouse.
So yeah, we're looking at
Not
your
stigma.
social, and I couldn't see where you're from, but I've been listening to your music for the last couple of days because I knew this interview was coming in, and I could tell you're quite political, aren't you? You've got a voice, aren't you? You're quite a frustrated person there in the world, shouting at the world and just
Walk around in a bad
telling us
mood.
how it is.
Yeah, just permanently in a bad mood. No, yeah, definitely. I kind of think that talking and thinking about politics as a whole is just a really, really cool thing.
Yeah.
That we all ought to think about. So that is kind of the root of the tunes.
Well, I was just looking at Terms and Conditions, and I just love
Yeah.
that tune anyway. I love the video for it and how it looks and things. But there's a lot of lyrics in there. It's packed with opinions and frustration with how much what the world's like out there at the minute, and just general frustration. Is that how old are you, mate? If you don't mind me asking.
18.
18. So a relatively young age compared to me, anyway.
Yeah.
Just wise. You've got a wise head on young shoulders. Do you feel a responsibility?
A responsibility. I mean, I think no more than anyone else, really. I think there's always kind of, if you live somewhere and you are, especially in the democratic country that we live in, everyone has somewhat of a responsibility, a kind of innate responsibility to have a say. I believe in most of the things that I waffle on about. So that is which is generally quite left leaning liberal opinions. And I think there's, if anything, the responsibility that I give myself is just kind of getting people talking. It's one of my favorite things is just to see different people's views, which have spawned from some song I've posted, and that's very particular on TikTok. Just whether you agree or disagree, just to speak and to think about things, which is like my kind of favorite thing to happen.
Well, a lot of people, particularly in my generation, and I've just turned 44, are kind of blaming the government for spoiling it for the young ones. How does it feel as a young one coming through? How does it feel for people of your age and out there at the minute?
I think in everyone there's this kind of this uncertainty and this real kind of frustration, especially with under 18s. And I think a lot of the people who like my music are under 18. And when I started writing, I was under 18. And there's this real kind of frustration, which is I can't do anything about this. Now, and that, and especially when decisions are being made, which are so fucking stupid. And there is so many, there's so much kind of corruption which has come to light, and just straight up lies. And the power that you just kind of trust people to have, and they just hold your lives like they're nothing. And some people care more than others, but a lot of people don't care that much. They just like to see themselves in a powerful position, and there's always this message in young people, which is decisions which will affect us that we can't do much about. Ultimately, we're the ones who have to grow up and witness the effects of this decision. And you see that with the referendum, which is when that vote was made. What was it? That was done in 2016. 2016. So that was 6 years ago. So I was 12. And you're only really starting to see the repercussions now. And I'm only just able to vote. Yeah. So I think that's why in the youth, there is always this real kind of political atmosphere, this kind of desire to make a difference, because you feel as though it's your life which is being impacted. Not to say that, but that's been the case for everyone. It's not unique to my generation to feel that way. I think that's the case for every generation before. And anyone in the country who intends to stay in the country and live a life there, the repercussions are always, or very often, long term. So yeah.
Well, looking back to when I was 18, I was just getting pissed on cider in a park. And you've got this big music career, all the big festivals that we'll come up to that you've been announcing on your social recently, and you've got this this career going on. Just take me back to you at school and young Seb. How did you find this music inside you? How did you know that you were? How did you get into music? I'll simplify it.
I mean, there was still a lot of getting pissed in parks, but
it's all right. It's all right getting pissed in parks, isn't it?
Great fun. Some of the best nights.
It's not great for a 44-year-old, but you can do it when you're 18, can't you?
Yeah, I remember like I'd get. I mean, obviously not quite 18, but I'd have like a $5 on me. My dad's giving me a $5 and I'm going out.
Yeah.
So I'd get like 4 Budweiser. And you'd wait outside the shop for ages for someone to go in and get 4 Budweiser. Then you just try to neck it in 10 minutes, just because 4 Budweiser isn't going to make you feel pissed. But so if you drink all 4 in 10 minutes, then there's this 30-minute kind of period where you'd feel great. So we used
to have things called Heldon Superbrow. And it were about 9%. It were rank, and it were just under £1 a can. And 4 of them you fucked.
Yeah, really.
I mean, proper no good.
No.
I'm just reminiscing a bit about the good old days.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just unreal. But songs, songwriting. So I did. I used to do quite a lot of drama, like theatre. There's a place near me called Oldham Theatre Workshop. It's like a youth theatre place. I used to go down there all the time, and I'd say that's what kind of really got me into singing. I always liked to sing, and I was always really kind of a bit of an attention seeker in that sense. I remember one time in year 1, I got the whole class to stay behind after school and listen to me sing at them. And it was Eye of the Tiger. I sang the whole thing.
Nice.
The whole thing, banging on the table. I sang the whole of Eye of the Tiger. And I think I did Born in the USA as well, by Bruce Springsteen, which was at the time my favourite song. So I've always been into singing.
Yeah.
And I got into writing some time ago as well. Sort of. That was when I got into.
You're doing well at English at school.
Yeah, that was English was my thing in school. Out of all the subjects, I really had this kind of connection to English, because I loved writing things down, coming up with stories about various different things. Really into writing like fantasy stories. I got into Terry Pratchett, read all of his stuff, and that's almost this kind of political satire set in a fantasy world, and that almost inspired a lot of the stuff I was writing then. And when you're like younger, your imagination's all over the place, so you will write about the craziest shit. And then it got a bit more kind of serious, and you'd write more serious, boring stuff, which is where the songs come in, which are bit more serious. And I picked up the guitar because my dad's always played quite a bit of guitar, so I picked that up, and just after this long period of stopping and starting with the guitar and trying to get into it, I finally took it seriously, and then put the words and the guitar and the singing together, and there you go. And I always loved music as well.
Yeah,
that was always a big thing. Just listening to artists. Right.
So how did you like get noticed? How did you get yourself or start to realize that you've got a bit of some momentum around you? How did that manifest itself?
I think definitely through TikTok. I'd always posted little videos of me, different things I'd written on Instagram that never did that well. I mean, only my family and friends saw it, and that was great. Like, and then I went onto TikTok, and it had this real kind of unique feeling because of how the algorithm works. It showed it to random people across the world. So when they would comment saying, "Oh, I like that," it had this really kind of personal feeling, which you wouldn't quite get with Instagram because it's family and friends, and they're going to like it, whether they like it or not. They're going to tell you that it's good. So when it was on TikTok, even like when it was at the beginning and you weren't doing much views, it felt like you had something going that people enjoyed. And then the views started picking up. I remember the first time I got views, and I felt like an absolute fucking rock star when oh, I'm being wrong. Decline that. And I felt like I'd done something really good, because I'd generated this real kind of connection with a large amount of people, and that was something which made me feel a bit like ill. Made me a bit like sick with excitement. And then another video did well, and another, and I started to develop this real style as well at the same time, of really fast, choppy songs with lots of words, fitting in as many words as I possibly could, because that kind of became, it's what I started to really enjoy, was just staying on the bus writing like pages and pages of lyrics that I could then just stab some chords over and chuck it on TikTok. Stuff that I actually cared about and that I thought was important, because I felt I had the platform of people that would listen to that. And it was really that kind of those first few months where it was starting to do well, where I was like, you know what, I might actually give this a try. So I took a gap year, which is this year. I'm still on my gap year. Supposed to be going to Birmingham Uni. Looking unlikely, but looking very unlikely. But I was like, oh, you've got 1 year, Seb. See what you can do achieve in 1 year. And that's this year. And it's just gone unlike anything I'd ever would have expected, really.
So, so does it pay the bills now? Are you at a position, have you reached the holy grail where you can buy just by producing music yet?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Bear in mind, I still live at home.
Yeah. Okay.
That's almost like this thing that I need to. I'm currently in the process of deciding how long I do want to stay at home for.
And how do your parents feel about the possibility of not going to university and carrying on with music?
They're chill with it, and I think they were chill with it from the offset. It took them a while to. They always thought that uni would be the way that I'd go, because I was into school. I liked parts of like English, for example. I was always really into that, and that was going to be like the obvious gateway. But when music started doing well, I think they were just like, go for it, see what happens.
Yeah, so you're well underway now. You've had these big gigs. So where did you start doing gigs in Manchester? Was it just Northern Quarter type venues?
Yeah, well, my first one was on Deansgate, which is called Manchester Muse Festival. Don't know if you've heard of it. It's like a multi-venue. It's really, really, I think it's just started. And I had just opening slot on that festival. That was like the first one. I'd done a few pub gigs before then, just doing covers. And that was just to make money while I was in college. And then Made in Manchester. I did that, which was, did the one in Bolton, and then there's one in, it's like nearly Cheshire. Where is it now? But yeah, and they were great. And then they were like my first sort of gigs around Manchester. Yeah.
What was it like playing Gorilla then? You know, like an iconic Manchester. It's one of those venues that bands like they want to have it on their portfolio of gigs as they're growing as a band. So that, you know, they'll do the Northern Quarter gigs, and then they'll do the Gorilla, then they might want to do the Ritz, and then they might want to do something else. It shows progression, and it, you know, being able to play those kind of gigs. How did you prepare for, you know, playing Gorilla?
So I'd done Night and Day. That was the first headline I did, which was great. And at the time it was like, oh my God, nothing can top this. This feeling is unreal. And it had this really warm feeling. I mean, it was a lot of family and a lot of friends there who were really, really supportive. And then a lot of people who were like, just had found me. And it had this really kind of warm kind of community feeling about it, Night and Day, which I thought Gorilla would be quite similar to. And then I got to the venue and it just felt so much bigger. And this time I had a band as well, which I'd never had before. It was my first time playing with a band. And we'd been practicing. I was like stressing out that something would go wrong because I've never played with a band. And, you know, most of it was just worried that I'm going to mess up, like playing in time. That's just not something I've ever really had to worry about. And then I've got to do it in Gorilla, which, but it all went very smoothly. And the only person who made mistakes was myself. But like, I'm allowed to. So
how did you prepare mentally for it?
For Gorilla, just pretty much what I will do for most gigs is
pack a board.
Few beers, and just because obviously dressing rooms are very often shared, and I don't want to say to like support bands, get out. Thankfully at Gorilla, actually, they had this other dressing room. But you've also got people wanting to come in and say hi before the gig, and I don't want to say no, I need my time. So what I'll just generally most of the time do is just go to the toilet for 5 minutes and just stare at the mirror and think, all right, just get zen, and have a few bit of Dutch courage. One of the things which really actually helped was I went out to meet my dad because I forgot one of my spare guitar. So he came and brought it for me. So he passed me my guitar. And when as I stepped out, I saw a queue of people waiting outside to come and watch my gig. And it was almost this, I mean, it was a really scary thing to see, but then also like all right, this is a proper group of people here coming to watch me.
Was it the first kind of time where, you know, you mentioned Night and Day was like maybe friends and that kind of stuff. The first time you're thinking something's crossing over here, where it's people you don't know are coming to your gigs. Is that the first time?
That was the main thing, and that was a feeling which, again, I'm going to say I don't think can be topped, because that was just like I'd done all these support gigs as well, where I'm on support and I'm at these big venues, and these headlines have all of these fans coming to watch them, who are really into their stuff, and like they've found them. The artists don't know who these people are, and this is great, as if these guys have that. And then I step into Gorilla, and I'm like, oh my god, this is literally that.
Yeah.
That's what the feeling was. This, and all these people just singing my songs, really, really liking the songs. And then when I said as well, I was like, oh, I'll be outside if you want to come say hi. Yeah. There were so many people who wanted to come and say hi, who I'd never met before. And it was just great to meet all these different people, who were all just so supportive. And yeah, that whole night was like a blur, and I mean that in a really good way. Like,
it's a massive achievement to start having fans who you don't know. I can't understate, you know, that kind of. It's a turning point in a career. It means it's happening when people at your gig who you don't know. It's just it can't be underestimated, that feeling of thinking that there's something going on here. Nice one. It's exciting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And I woke up the next day thinking, all right, there's something going on here. I've got my people. Yeah. And they listen to the tunes. And they're really into whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's just great.
So you're fresh from Great Escape down in Brighton?
Yeah.
How did that go?
That was a wonderful night. Like, I mean, the gig was great. The gig was really good. And it was really cool, actually, because it was like a TikTok gig. It was really cool meeting all these TikTok people. And I don't just mean like people who work for TikTok. I mean actual TikTokers as well.
Oh, right. Okay. So is it people that follow you on TikTok came to see you? And was it sponsored?
Yeah, and then
And
then all the creators on TikTok as well.
Were they all outside dancing?
Just like got the phone out with doing some TikTok dances. No, yeah. So that was really good. And then actually, just as a whole, the night was rather incredible. So I went to an Irish pub afterwards in Brighton. It's called the Heart and Hand, if anyone knows it. And in there was an Irish band called the Mary Wallopers. You may have heard of them. They're really cool. Really nice group of lads, actually. Lads and girls. And we went in there, and they were playing their Irish folk songs, and they were doing it for about 4 hours straight in this pub. And they'd already performed The Great Escape, but they'd come to a pub after and said, "Hi mate, can we just do a few tunes?" And the whole night basically turned into, whenever there was silence, someone would start singing an Irish folk song of any description, which they knew, and then everyone would just go still silent and say like, and if anyone would start talking, they'd instantly be shushed. It was respect for whoever was singing. And then I got up actually and I did a few of my tunes, and there was this real kind of feeling of like proper listening. Everyone when I've done support gigs, you know, people are going there to have a good time, and they're going there to listen to the music, have a few drinks, warm up for the headline. But when I was in this pub, it was like this real sense that people were like listening to every word and really into the tunes. Yeah, that was great.
It's a bit of a phenomenon, solo artists doing so well. When you look at like Lewis Capaldi, Sam Fender now, Jerry Cinnamon, all these solo acts are coming out. Historically, it used to be solo artists weren't really getting the chance. Why do you think solo artists are going out and headlining the big festivals now, where historically it didn't seem to be that way?
I tell you, I've actually got an idea about this one.
Oh, nice one.
Believe it or not.
What?
just you know, not that I've been thinking about this beforehand, but you've just sparked an idea.
There we
I'd reckon it would have something to do with potentially social media, in the way of like, let's say pre-social media, the only real proper exposure you can get is at gigs.
Yeah.
And at gigs, when you're with a band, there is that kind of real wow factor. It's loud and it's impressive because you've got a band with you. And honestly, you feel that. When I've played on my own versus playing with a band, there is this massive difference in terms of just the impact you can have with a band on the audience. And it's a real fucking skill, being able to recreate that impact on your own with a guitar. That's not something that I think that I've gone even close to mastering, the acoustic guitar live thing. But when you've got social media, you've got this ability for people to really connect with an individual. Because you can see everything they post, and you can constantly post about what you're up to, and you can give people the opportunity to get to know who you are through social media. So I think that's probably why it's much more possible now to do it all on your own.
It makes complete sense. When there's a full band as well, it might not be the right person that's managing the social accounts. Could be they might need to get permission to put something out, and then they think about it much, and then whatever they're going to put out just doesn't resonate or it isn't engaging. Where if there's just one person there, it's you being you, and if you're being genuine about what you've got, what you're up to, people will get on board with that, won't they? And invest in more when you're this real person that's that people are looking up to and doing a special thing like music.
Definitely. And even now with bands, you can see there's this kind of shift towards like letting people get to know the band. And almost doing the similar thing that the solo artists do on social media, but only doing it with 5 different people. And it's like, oh, these are all the different characters in the band. These are who we all are. Get to know us. So I think it's this real kind of shift towards, people want to know who you are.
People want to hear conversations more than just tiny sound bites as well these days. Is a big shift.
Yes. That's
why I've tried to make this podcast more long-term, longer chats and conversational things, rather than just talking about your single or just talking about this and that, where people might not engage with that as much as getting to know people. I think that's what people want these days.
Yeah, and podcasts are like taking off at the minute. People, they like to sit down and just hear people. It gives you company, and it gives you someone who you can really kind of feel as though you know and who you can connect to, and that's a great thing. I'd say.
Well, I was looking on your socials, and you've put that you're playing Glastonbury, mate. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, man.
How did you find out about that, and who did you tell first?
Who did I tell first? Yeah. So I found out about it through Billy Bragg, the man, the myth.
Yeah.
Who must have someone must have got hold of my TikTok, and that was the way.
Yeah.
Initially, like, I was like, oh, this can't be real. To be honest, don't believe it for a second, because why? But it turned out to be real. The first person I told, I have this routine. I tell my girl, I ring my girlfriend. If she don't answer, it's my mum or my dad, in whichever order. I do not want to give an order between those two. That would be wrong. But it's my girlfriend, and then it's my mum or my dad. So I think in this particular instance, it might have been my mum. Can't remember though.
So your missus didn't answer then?
I don't think so, but she might have done. I just trying to remember.
Okay.
But I was like, after the first person answered, I rang the other person again, and then this person again, just because I just was so eager to tell people. But like, anytime I tell people, it's like, don't tell anyone. And also, it's not confirmed. So definitely don't tell anyone until I tell you it's confirmed, or until it's announced, or until I say so. Don't tell a soul. But then at the same time, I'll have a drink, and then wake up the next morning, and I can't tell you if I've told people or not. I can't telling everyone. But yeah, it was unreal. We went straight out and celebrated, me, my manager, and my drummer, Joe.
Don't blame me, mate, and congratulations from it. And you know, you've got Isle of Wight coming up, all these festivals coming up. All this, you've got a nice looking summer ahead of you, mate.
Yeah. It's gonna be.
How do you prepare for that?
For the summer?
Yeah. Just make sure you've got all your guitar strings all sorted. Your leads are all new and all sorted out. But
yeah, get absolutely stressed out. It's
daunting, though.
Really excited.
Yeah,
it's like this. I get when like things become really oversaturated with like stuff that's going on in my life. Even if it's all really great things, it'll just stress me out. There's all these different things I've got to do, and then someone will say, "Oh, do you fancy coming out next weekend?" I'm like, "No, I'd love to. I probably can, but it's just my mind is like just trying to like contemplate all of these different things that are so overwhelmingly good. Don't get me wrong, unreal. But I think that's part of why it's so stressful, because it's these like massive things.
And has it changed you?
I'd like to think so, in like a good way, but then also not that much. I think. Do
your mates like have your mates noticed a difference in you? Because they're the ones that will tell you.
No. I think they're all like really, really kind of just happy for me, and they're all so supportive.
Yeah, good.
Coming down to the gigs, especially the headline ones where I need to sell tickets, and it's like, fucking hell, come down. You are not on guest list. You are buying a ticket.
Yes, yeah, got you. And we can't wait to see you at all these festivals that you've got coming up. Just to finish the interview off a little bit today, have you got a message for the fans of Seb Lowe that are going to see you over festival season? Have you got a message for them to leave with today?
Stick with it, please. I hope if you see me live, I hope to God that you enjoy it and that you have a great time. And I hope that I get the chance to talk to you as well. I want to meet literally everyone at some point.
Yeah.
And I've got there's more shit to come.
Nice.
In terms of songs and all that.
So watch this space, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this interview, Seb. When I see you in one of these festivals, I'll put a pint in front of you, and I wish you all the best, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, pal.